How's it going, guys? So week 2 of the draft league is finally upon us, and today we are going to be facing Team Scream. First and foremost, I want to say the logo is absolutely beautiful and easily the best logo of the draft here. Wallum, coach of Team Scream, actually did it himself, and I just can't say enough good things about it. But today he is going to be facing the Chicago Cupchoos, aka your boy. So I'm going to be doing a quick team breakdown, and if you guys aren't interested in that, I will have a timestamp down in the description below, which should hopefully pop up on the playhead so you guys can go ahead and just skip to the battle. But quick glance at his team here, absolutely threatening and very well-rounded team we have here today. Dragapult is easily going to be the most threatening mon, just because off rip it gives him one of the best speed tiers outside of Electrode and Hisuian Electrode, which funnily enough, someone drafted both forms. With speed tier alone, it already just poses a massive problem, but when we actually get into sets, it just becomes kind of out of hand and somewhat overwhelming here, right? It can run choice specs, it can run physical, it can run choice banded, it can run substitute hex, it can run screens, it can even run mix if it really wants to. So many possibilities, and it's going to be incredibly hard to actually discern what set it is just from team preview alone here, right? He has Kingambit, one of the best late game cleaners. Don't need to say much, right? This thing's going to come in late game, eat a hit, get a Swords End off, and possibly sweep. He also has one of the best hazard removals in Corviknight with Defog. Only one person in the draft can have Golden Go, right? So yeah, so Defog is just as good as it was in previous generations. He also has volcarona. I seriously don't know how he let him get the first 4 picks here, right? But yes, this thing is going to be relegated to running heavy duty boots, and yes, this thing is going to be stuck with its base typing, but that does not make it any less of a threat than it is here, right? A bulky max HP, max defense volcarona here can easily get up, can easily find opportunities to go ahead and actually get up a quiver dance or 2, and by that point it's just going to go ahead and run away with the game here. Gastrodon gives him nice utility. It can be defensive or it can be special defensive. Gives him a hazard setter, annoying mon with. Does it get toxic? I'm gonna go ahead and assume it gets toxic. Really great typing as well with water ground. It also has Breloom here, just again more versatility. He can run straight up physical tagger. He can run choice banded. He can be annoying with toxic orb, toxic substitute, and it also gives him a spore user. Overqwil here gives him nice grounded poison here to go ahead and absorb toxic spikes. Also really great type combination that is incredibly threatening to my team. It also has a really great signature move in Poison Barrage, which basically, if I'm not mistaken, acts as Poison Hex. Jolteon here gives him another great speed tier, hitting 364, really great special tagger, and having an offensive electric type is very valuable, right? Overqwil and Jolteon are his Tera captains. Overqwil is going to be Water Fairy, and Jolteon is going to be Ice and Flying. So with Jolteon in particular, right, the boat beam combo can potentially be very dangerous here. Gothetille to go ahead and build Gothetille here, really just arena trap and go ahead choice scarf and trick here, right? Just go ahead and cripple like a really Pokemon. This thing's gonna add a lot of pressure and a lot of constraints on the team building process, which is always annoying. Even if it doesn't come, right, you always have to account for it. And then Fido gives them once again a little bit more defenses and also a good fairy type here. So our first mon is gonna be Galarian Slowking. So because of volcarona, it really put a lot of constraint on what exactly I can run here. I want to go ahead and put Power Gem on my Glowking here, just because we can always, what's it called, having a move that's 4 times weak to, right, is always good and should hopefully kind of shred through his quiver dances, especially early on, and especially if we're able to go ahead and catch this thing on a switch in. Flamethrower here is to go ahead and actually hit the Kingambit, the Corviknight, and the Breloom for super effective damage and get some good chip off, and to not allow him any free turns that he otherwise thought he would have. Toxic spikes are going to be absolutely crucial here to really pressure the Dragonite, the Gastrodon, possibly the Breloom, possibly the Jolteon, but I do expect it to be running heavy duty boots, the Gothetille, and the Fido. All of those I don't expect to be running heavy duty boots. I do, right? Dragapult is most likely going to be choiced. Same thing with the Gothetille, just for trick purposes, and the Gastrodon and the Fido here can possibly be leftovers, including the Breloom as well. And then Chilly Reception is just for nice pivoting support here, right? Just come in, eat the special attack, and pivot out to something nicely. Zapdos here is mainly for the Corviknight and to also kind of check the Breloom here with Air Cutter. And it also kind of acts as a little bit of a pseudo check to Kingambit, just because we're going to be threatening him with Discharge plus Static. And Kingambit, especially in the late game, never wants to go ahead and be status here, just because it can go ahead and ruin his potential, his sweeping potential, and you never want that, right? The last thing you want in an end game is to is to basically risk your entire game on a paralysis chance, on a chance to get paralyzed here, right? U-turn gives us nice pivoting move, and Roost goes ahead and gives us some longevity here. Not much to say, pretty standard. Just straight up max HP, max speed to give us a decent speed tier here. Bronzong is going to be somewhat of an early game sweeper, I hope. Basic premise of this is going to be come in early game, Calm Mind up as much as I possibly can, force in the Dragapult or force in the Kingambit and Tera, and just hopefully take care of those threats appropriately. Power Gem, once again, for the Volcarona here, can never discount it and can never be caught lacking. And that also goes for our ability as well, right? Heat Proof. We're going to go ahead and give up Levitate because other than the Gastrodon and possibly the overqwil here, right? Nothing is going to be, well, all Breloom with Slomping Chatham or something. But even then, really. Yeah, so I'm banking on the fact that it's already hard ingrained into people that Levitate and Bronzong are synonymous. So to not even scout or test out for the heat proof here. So hopefully that can come in the clutch, especially against a Volcarona here. And then body press mainly for the Kingambit and stored power. Hopefully we can go, if we get up enough Calm Mind boost, we can hopefully sweep with that, right? Or at least do lots and lots of damage to his team with that. Up next, we have Cinderace here. Same bulky Cinderace here. I absolutely love this set. Fireball offers us a good 2-shot on the Volcarona. Will-O-Wisp can potentially cripple the Corviknight and can potentially cripple the Kingambit and cripple the Corviknight here, right? Could also do the same thing for Breloom and his overqwil here, right? And then max speed here, just go ahead and give us a really good speed tier to go ahead and actually outspeed the Jolteon. U-turn for nice pivoting, and course change is here for a decent form of hazard removal. Yeah, it's just here for hazard control, I should say, just in case the Gastrodon wants to go ahead and set up Stealth Rocks, or if our Galarian Slowking has been knocked out and we need emergency Toxic Spike removal here, right? Second to last, we have Urshifu Rapid. You guys will notice a theme here, right? Rock move on a lot of Vermons. Look, I'm not going to be losing to Volcarona, all right? I'm just not, all right? He can beat me with any other Mon, but he's not going to beat me with Volcarona. We are, with our EV spread here, we're going to be hitting 302 speed. So after Trailblaze, we're going to be faster than Dragapult, and hopefully by then we would have chipped it down enough so that Surging Strikes can do really meaningful damage or even pick up the KO. Draining Punch here, fighting move here, just for the Kingambit, and to go ahead and, yeah, really just for the Kingambit. Rock Slide here hits the Volcarona super effectively, and it also, if we do force Tera on the Jolteon, if it does come, we can go ahead and hit both his Tera types for super effective damage here, right? And then Gastrodon, Trailblaze here for the Gastrodon, and also just for good speed support as well. And lastly, we have Haxorus. So Haxorus here is going to be our main offensive pressure, just as last week. With once again with our speed, with our EVs here, we're going to be hitting a speed tier of 302. So after Dragon Dance, we're going to have just enough speed to go ahead and actually outspeed the Dragapult and just go ahead and kill it with a Dragon Claw. Close combat here is for Kingambit, and if I get enough Dragon Dances, hopefully we can go ahead and get a 2-shot on the Corviknight. And then Dragon Claw, of course, to hit a lot of other things neutrally, and Earthquake here is always good coverage. Basically, I'm really going to be banking on the fact that with Volcarona, if he has Will-O-Wisp, if he wants to go that set, or with Breloom and he wants to click Spore, or even Jolteon with like some Thunder Wave support, I'm really hoping to go ahead and bait out the status move to go ahead and actually give us the free turn of Dragon Dance and just threaten everything back with a KO. This thing is really just going to go ahead and be a late game cleaner. The biggest obstacles are going to be the Corviknight and the end the Fido here, right? Just because I can't have too much. I don't have too much here that can reasonably touch it without taking good damage back. But yeah, hopefully this thing can come in and just clean up the game nicely for us. So that is going to be it for the team breakdown here. Look at Team Scream and all its glory here, right? Very threatening and very aesthetically pleasing to look at. But I do have full confidence in the boys and our guys here, right? I do have full confidence that we're going to go ahead and come out of week 2 with a dub, all right? The boys are just as powerful as Team Scream here, but we only have one way to find out, right? And I will see you guys in the battle. Okay, we are here with week 2 of the draft. All right, he did not bring Overqwil, but he did bring his Breloom. Still very threatening, still very annoying. Did expect the Dragapult, did expect the Corviknight, did expect the Kingambit here. Jolteon's very nice to see just because we have Slowking Galar, and same thing with the dash button, right? Don't have... Oh man, I was really expecting for Volcarona to come, so I did not bring a poison move on Slowking Galar, so the dash button is looking to be incredibly annoying here, right? Hopefully that doesn't come to bite us. Cinderace is unfortunately kind of looking a little bit useless, but I feel decently okay with just leading Slowking Galar here. We do have Flamethrower for the Corviknight, for the Breloom, and for the Kingambit. Damn. Yeah, unfortunately we just didn't bring a poison move, right? But he has like the 2 best steals out there, so... So straight for the Dragapult he wants to go. We're gonna see what kind of route he wants to take here. If it's just sub DD, then I lose. Nope, just Shadow Ball. Perfect. Okay. Man, oh man, oh man. So it's kind of a tough decision we have here now, right? So we're here at a little bit of a tough position. Kind of the... What's that specs damage here, right? Kind of looking like it was. Don't know how much I can eat too. So it was Rocky Helmet there, which is kind of unfortunate, but hey. Go right for the discharge here. Go ahead and get a U-turn off, and then just go right into talk about Chalupa here. Go for a Calm Mind. Yawn, very nice. I'm gonna go for a Chili, because I expect to swap out here. Oh, very cool and interesting team he has here, right? The Haxorus is going to be... We're really going to have to take advantage of the Hax. The Haxorus is going to be a little bit underwhelming here, unfortunately, right? Because just because he has what I'm going to assume is a max defense Corviknight and a Kingambit here. Taking big chip on our Cinderace here, which is not the greatest, but... Just gonna go ahead and discharge once more. Really gonna try and pressure him. Because he's either gonna go ahead and let me discharge for a defog, or he's just gonna go ahead and swap out, and I'm perfectly fine with either, right? If he brings out his Jolteon, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that it wants to Tera immediately and just go ahead and go for the Tera Blast. They want to go Dragapult, which is perfectly understandable here, right? I don't exactly have much in the way of that. So it's not looking like he has, it's not looking like he has, not looking like he has, Stealth Rocks here, so those spikes are going to be incredibly important here, and I don't see much value in Cinderace. Yes, and get the Will-O-Wisp. Do I? Because I do always have my Urshifu here, right? So not going to be too much of a problem. At least I hope. Or do I want to go? Because my worry is that this is Mach Punch and my Nesquik here is already dead, right? Very unfortunate that I just couldn't. Do I have to sack? Who do I want to sack here if that's the case, right? I think Nesquik has to go here, unfortunately. Ooh, okay, so they go for a U-turn. All right, perfect case scenario then. I wish I would have said then. Oh no, never mind. I was about to say for the static chances, but he's already poisoned, right? I don't do the Corviknight he wants to go. You can go ahead and just go Willow here. TBH, we're just gonna Willow up. If he wants to defog in exchange for this, I'll happily take that, and I'm just gonna go right out into Slowking Galar, right? At most he's gonna go ahead and U-turn, and then if he goes right out to the Dragapult, I'm just gonna Chilly Reception out into my Bronzong and just start yeah, I'm just gonna U-turn out into my Bronzong and just start Calm Minding up. We do land the Willow, thankfully, and they want to go straight for the Body Press. Okay. So out to the Zapdos we will go, and we're just gonna go ahead and go for the Discharge here. I will take this. I will happily take this. Just because his Wish Passer will just be gone then. And that's never a bad thing here, right? Now he can just go out to the Dragapult freely, but it's already incredibly heavily chipped here, right? With no recovery, so hopefully I can just stall it out a little bit longer. And really, the Breloom's looking like a massive threat with, the Breloom's really just looking like a massive threat now. We need to get rid of that thing, and hopefully our paths to just clear up nicely with Bronzong, especially when, especially now that the Corviknight's burn and it did reveal Body Press. So the fact that the Jolteon has not been brought out yet, kind of worries me just a little here, right? Its Tera types are flying in Ice here. I do expect more Ice than anything, so Urshifu's gonna be looking great. As soon as I get up, a what's it called? A Trailblaze with Urshifu here, right? Our speed tier is. Yeah, it's just enough to go ahead and actually outspeed a Dragapult at a +1. So hopefully with Trailblaze plus Poison plus Surging Strikes, we're able to go ahead and actually take it out. But we do want to preserve Urshifu's health as much as possible for the late game Kingambit, right? Bit of an unfortunate situation, but Zapdos here looks absolutely phenomenal, right? Pressures the Dash Button, pressures the Corviknight, pressures the Breloom here, and even Kingambit doesn't want to stay in here and risk getting static. So out into the Jolteon they want to go. Perfectly fine. We're gonna go ahead and just go Slowking Galar here. Again, we're probably going to see a Tera here. No, they go straight for the vote switch. Good play on their part. But we are just going to go ahead and chili reception now if they want to go right for the dragapult play, right? They want to go for the kingambit right off rip. Okay. So right out into JR5 Henny we go, and then we're going to go ahead and just throw off a Surging Strikes. We are protector pad, so we don't need to worry too much on about the Corviknight, right? Right for the how they want to go. Wow, that's some big Demoglios here, right? Straight for the Surging Strikes, to be honest with you. Yeah. Alright, good chip. And if he wants to U-turn straight off rip. That's perfectly fine. Out into the Jolteon they want to go. Tera Blast, again, I'm a little bit worried about the Tera Blast Ice here. They are heavy duty boots, so that is something worth noting, right? Out into the Slowking Galar they want to go. Oh, they go straight for the Calm Mind here. Oh, okay. So they immediately get threatened out. So because it's Calm Mind Vote Switch, it kind of makes me question what some of their moves are, what the rest of their moves here are, right? So even if they are Volt Absorb Jolteon here, I have no problem just absolutely going out, just throwing off a discharge here, right? I have no problem with that whatsoever. If they do go Jolteon, I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat the same play of going right back into my Slowking Galar. If they want to go ahead and make the pivot with Volt Switch, then that's perfectly fine by me, right? Tera Blast Ice here is looking incredibly threatening, especially the fact that they're Calm Mind here. So getting in Haxorus, and especially at a +1 as early as possible, is going to look okay. So they give me the Corviknight, which is perfectly fine. So those Toxic Spikes are there to stay. Out to the Jolteon they want to go. We're going to go straight to Santana here. That's perfectly fine. That's such big damage. All right, I think we might. Oh, that's such huge damage. Okay, all right, I think it might be a sweep here. Unfortunate as it is, right? We're gonna go Haxorus here, just to actually force out the Tera, right? We're gonna go Haxorus here just to hopefully force out the Tera. Did not expect Jolteon Thunderbolt to be doing that much, but to be fair, it is at a +2, so kind of unfortunate here, right? So such a shame that okay, wow. Okay, so they want to go Breloom, so they're gonna go ahead and preserve that, which is incredibly smart of them. But this is just gonna give me an opportunity to go ahead and get a +1 Dragon Dance here. If they want to go ahead and Spore, then that's fine by me, right? But getting a +1 here is gonna be incredibly important. Let's see if they actually want to go for the Spore here. They do. All right, perfect. So Dragon Claw is looking like a kill here. Phenomenal. I'm not completely out of the woods yet, as scary as the situation is, right? Oh man. So luckily we were able to actually scare out the Jolteon instead of force the Tera there. So we'll definitely take that situation here, right? Again, it's still a very scary situation just because their Jolteon is Calm Mind. Okay. So we are if we could go ahead and actually outspeed this, and no shot that this is Scarf, right? Perfect, 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 perfect. Out into the Kingambit they want to go. Very understandable here. Just gonna throw off a close combat, TBH. Yeah, we're just gonna throw off a close combat here. See if they are Chopo. No, they aren't. Okay, and it's looking like a Haxorus sweep here. GG. Oh, and Haxorus just kills through Tera Ice. Oh my goodness. So forcing out the Jolteon there was absolutely huge. In retrospective on their part, staying in to actually Tera Blast Ice was a better play there. But hey, thankfully we were able to go ahead and actually come out with a win this week, and Haxorus does it again, man. Holy cow, this thing is putting in major work. So that is going to do it for today, guys. Don't think I'm going to be able to get a post-game interview. Our friend here, Yem, he is a Brit, so he's living in the UK, so the time difference is insane here, right? But it was an incredibly fun match. It was an incredibly good match, and I'm so happy that we were able to end this week off with a win here, right? Our prep could have been a lot better here, right? Again, I was just expecting the overqwil and volcarona a little, especially the volcarona, right? Yeah, sure, it has its a 4x weakness to rock, and it's forced to run heavy duty boots, but even still, that doesn't discount the massive threat that it is. So just him having it on the team really forced me to run kind of unorthodox moves on the Slowking Galar, and especially on the Bronzong here. I kind of limited my coverage, right? I always wanted to have a power gem or a rock move, just go ahead and hit that thing for 4x effectiveness. But that Jolt, so something like the Jolteon actually like fell beneath the wayside here. In prep, I was actually thinking too, I'm like, all right, if he brings Jolteon, it's not going to be too much of a problem here, right? I have plenty to handle it. But oh my goodness, it literally came down to just forcing him out. Oh my god. In a different world, that definitely could have gone the other way. So my prep should have been a lot better, but I'm really glad that Haxorus was able to force out the Jolteon and able to just go ahead and clean up here. Once the Corviknight went down, and especially the Dachshund here, yeah, just getting a +1 on Haxorus just became of the utmost importance here, right? I knew I knew my EVs were fast enough to go ahead and actually outspeed the Dragapult just by a little after a +1, and then and looking at the rest of his team here, right? Especially with his two, for sure Corviknight was physically defensive, and I'm not sure if Dachshund was, right? It did take a lot from Discharge, and we weren't uninvested, so kind of gearing towards physically defensive. So once those two massive defensive walls on his part were gone, Haxorus just looked better and better, right? And then the Breloom actually gave me the opportunity to go, the Breloom Spore, right? It's such a natural instinct to go ahead and click it, and that's perfectly understandable, and that's exactly why we have the Lumberry. But that Breloom Spore really just gave me the opportunity to go ahead and get the +1 I needed, and then just clean up the game from there. A little bit worried about Chopo Kingambit, but just because I do have an Urshifu here, right? So Chopo is something to keep in mind, but I'm not sure if the Kingambit still died through that, right? Because our Pokemon are fairly high, Haxorus here and Urshifu have incredibly high base attack, so, and I run Adamant on both of them, so I don't know if in the calculations that's still killed there, right? It is a 4x effective move, and Urshifu does get stabbed on that, so who knows. But yeah, again, luckily we were able to go ahead and end this week off with a win, and that'll do it for today, guys. See ya.